What do you think are some core traits to be a successful entrepreneur?
The main thing I always say is you got to have faith. Stepping out on faith to be an entrepreneur is the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody always goes into, well, I need money. I need to be able to have a product. I need to be able to, yes, you need all of those, but the first thing that you need is faith. But once you actually have that faith to actually be in the position of being an entrepreneur, everything else comes. The products come, the business comes, the money comes. But you got to have that faith and that willpower to actually be able to drive to become an entrepreneur.
Have you ever heard that term, analysis paralysis? You know what I'm saying? Like that hardest step most of the time is that first one.
That first step, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we so busy, like, look, I just want to have everything perfect. I just want to do this, do that, have this in order. Like, yo, push the button.
The Highest Point Podcast.
More than a pod, it's a lifestyle.
Yo, welcome to the Highest Point Podcast. This is a show for everyone who's willing to put in the label to be greater and reach the highest point. Now, speaking about reaching the highest point, we have a very special guest in the building. I'm talking about this man is an actor. He's a self-made entrepreneur. He's also an owner of a record label. We got none other than Kickboy Triple in the building, man. What's good with you?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, so glad to have you on the show, man. We want to get some of this game you got. And when it comes to this entrepreneurship and just learning so much about businesses. But, you know, one thing on our show, we like to focus in on the journey. A lot of times people, they just see the end result and don't have no idea how you got to where you are.
Right.
When it comes to being successful or your enlightenment. Can you start off by telling us, where you're from and what was like your family dynamics growing up?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So originally I'm from the south side of Greensboro, North Carolina. Pretty much how I got into the whole journey is I've been studying business since the age of 15. So I've been always been infatuated with how businesses are ran and how to start businesses and entrepreneurship. Long story short, when I was about 18 is when I got my first job. So my first job was at Bojangles, and then I worked at Pizza Hut. I worked at a Verizon call center, and I also worked at a check printing company.
Yeah.
And out of all of those companies that I worked for, every company that I was an employee of, I always learned traits of actually how to be a entrepreneur and a better businessman. So, you know, I learned from working at Bojangles, I learned how to be able to multitask better.
So what did you do at Bojangles?
I was a team lead. So, you know, I was always doing something. I mean, whether it was managing the money or packaging food, cooking, everything. I learned how to multitask. I learned how to do all of that while I was in the building in the 8-hour shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then I learned great customer service and rapport and how to retain customers from working at Verizon. And and then the check printing company that I used to work for, I learned how to actually market and also network with other businesses because they printed checks for other small companies. You know what I'm saying? So, it's
Yo, that's wild. So I mean, a lot of people don't have that mentality though while they're working on these 9-to-5s to how, hey, I can channel the same things that I'm learning to put into a business of my own.
Right.
Now, did anyone pass that game to you, like coming up, or like how do you get to the point to where, okay, I'm going to learn these things and use them as tools on my tool belt?
Yeah, actually, my dad. You know what I'm saying? My dad, he was always the type of person he didn't like to work for nobody. So anytime that he couldn't keep a job because he did not like for somebody to boss him around. You know what I mean? Or tell him what to do. So just growing up, always watching how it was like he would always make a way out of no way. When it came down to working for other companies, I was always impressed by that. You know what I mean? So he was always, okay, cool, I'm out of this place. Let me go figure out how to get it on my own. Let me go figure out how to do it on my own, whether it was as small as cutting grass or if it was as big as selling whatever product that he can get his hands on. You know, I was always influenced by that. And I was like, yeah, he making money, making a living off of just being him, just doing him. You know what I mean?
So now, what was the reason you started working? Did you just want to start working out of necessity, like you had to work, or you just want to like, look, yo, I want my own money. I'm 18 now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a necessity. You know, once you get out of high school, you start touching them bills. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, that's when I really started touching real bills. Everything from rent down to car payments, down to insurance, down to phone bills. You know what I'm saying? I had to make a living. I had to figure out how to go out there and get it. And I didn't necessarily have the knowledge at the time to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Even though I was studying businesses, I still at the time I didn't really possess the traits that would catapult me into being an entrepreneur.
Right. What do you think are some core traits to be a successful entrepreneur?
The main thing I always say is you got to have faith. That's the main thing. You know, stepping out on faith to be an entrepreneur is the biggest thing. You know, I'm saying everybody always goes into, well, I need money. I need to be able to have a product. I need to be able to. Yes, you need all of those, but the first thing that you need is faith. If you can't step out there and say that I want to do this, you're never going to get there. You're never going to get to the point of being an entrepreneur because you're going to always say, I want to be an entrepreneur. But once you actually have that faith to actually be in the position of being an entrepreneur, everything else comes. The products come, the business comes, the money comes. But you got to have that faith and that willpower to actually be able to drive to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people that want to become an entrepreneur but don't, have you ever heard that term analysis paralysis? You know what I'm saying? Like that hardest step most of the time is that first one.
First step, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we so busy, like, look, I just want to have everything perfect. I just want to do this, do that, have this in order. Like, yo, push the button.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I say for me, my biggest thing was having to be able to shift my mindset from being a consumer to a business. So as I was growing up and learning, because I went to school, I went to college to get my degree in entrepreneurship and business and management entrepreneurship. While I was going, I was learning that, you know, the biggest thing that was switching my mindset from being a consumer to a business. And what I mean by that is that, like, so everything that I wanted to do in life, or say, okay, my fault. Let me rephrase that. Anything that I wanted to get in life, I need to learn the business aspects of it. So that's even saying going to buy a phone. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is that people are kind of lazy into trying to figure out how is Apple able to sell you this phone. So if Apple sold me this phone, I'm now curious on how Apple is the $1 billion company that just sold me this phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was always been the type of person, I wanted to try to figure that game out. I wanted to figure out how did Apple sell me this product? You know what I'm saying? But the average person is a consumer. We don't want to figure that out. We don't want to learn what Apple is doing to sell us an iPhone. I'm just using that as an example. We don't want to learn what Apple is doing to sell us an iPhone. We don't want to learn what Walmart is doing to sell us a box of cereal. We're spending our money and we're taking a product and we're just happy we got the product and we're consuming. You know what I'm saying? So you have those individuals who have the entrepreneurial mindset and they're able to decipher the difference between going, okay, now I'm just a traditional consumer, to actually being, I'm a consumer, but let me learn the business aspects of it.
Yeah. So true. I mean, honestly, man, I think we're kind of conditioned to be consumers, workers. You know what I'm saying? Because hell, most people go to school to be a worker.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, most people not going to for business and entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
I think some of those things are starting to change a little bit now, but it's so important to break that particular mindset. Do you think everyone can be though? Like, is it something you got to be built for?
It is something you got to be built for. I use what I call the 90-10 rule. So if you have a room of 100 people, right? So you got 100 people in a room. 90 of those people are too lazy to go and obtain the knowledge. 10 of those people will go figure out the knowledge, will go get the knowledge. Right. Once those 10 people go get the knowledge, they're instant millionaires, because what happens is that those 10 people will come back and sell that same knowledge to this group of 90 individuals. You see what I'm saying? And see, what happens is that these 90 individuals, they want to be spoon-fed the information. So they're not willing to go do the work that those 10 people went to go do to obtain that knowledge. Right. They want to be able to put their trust in these 10 people to be able to spoon-feed it to them. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So everybody has the ability to be. The fact of the matter is, majority of the world, majority of the population, at least in America, want to be entrepreneurs, want to own businesses, want to be the top dog in whatever market it is that they're in. But we're too lazy to go and obtain the knowledge that we need to be able to get to those positions.
Right.
So we pay people thousands of dollars thinking that that's the way to actually get the knowledge, which is somebody who's already done it and then they're able to spoon feed it to you. We want to be spoon fed everything.
Yeah, that's so true, man. That is facts.
Yeah, even down to technology, man.
Yeah, everything. We'll pay you to, like, look, I need someone to show me. Or like, even like, you don't want to listen to an automated system.
Exactly.
You want someone like, I want to get a live person on the phone to tell me. Like, they're going to tell you something different than what their automated system is going to tell you. You could have just waited for the button. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, it's the same info, dog.
The same info.
They're not going to tell you nothing different. And then, I just know, I don't think everyone's built for it either, because some people need that information disseminated for them. Like, look, when I see all these words on this paper, that is very intimidating to me. You know what I'm saying? I need someone to break it down to layman's terms to me. You know, make this concise. That's way too much for me. So I think those are within that 90% you was talking about.
Absolutely.
And the consumer needs that entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur needs the consumer. It's kind of like when we talking about like, look, yo, if everybody on TV, who gonna be watching it? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to put it. That's a real great way to put it. That's a great way to put it, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. We all need each other. Like, look, everybody can't be on the TV screen, dog. We need some people watching. So, so yes, I do want to keep diving into it a little bit. Now, have you ever been fired from one of these jobs?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How many times you been fired?
I've been fired once.
Okay.
And that's when I realized that working a 9-to-5, somebody has too much control over my life. Actually, no. Matter of fact, I was fired twice. The last job that I was actually laid off from, I said this would be the last job I would be laid off from.
Oh, wow.
You have too much control over my life. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I had a newborn baby at the time. You know what I mean? And I told myself, I said, yo, just that instant, you stopped everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But what's so crazy is, like, that's how the average person would look at it. But I really didn't look at it like that. I said, okay, this is what I prayed for. This is the position that I asked to be in. God brought me here for a reason. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, which like I said, which is actually crazy, because that was the check printing company that I was telling you about. I was laid off because they were downsizing the company. Wow. So at this point, this was around right pre-COVID. It was like right when COVID was actually starting to become a thing. And I decided I said, well, let me figure out what it is that I need to do to maintain my abilities to being my own boss. Right. So I did the one thing that people wouldn't do during COVID, which was actually go out and do Grubhub. Nobody wanted to leave their houses during COVID. Right. So I went, figured out how to get involved with Grubhub. And at that point, I was making $2,000 a week.
Crazy.
A week. I was making up to $8,000 a month working Grubhub, because nobody wanted to leave their house. Right. Everybody was scared to leave their house. And I was able to jump out there and say, you know what, I'm going to go do it. I didn't really care about the consequences behind it, because I knew that I needed to take the risk in order to elevate. So I started doing Grubhub, making $2,000 a week. Crazy. And by the time COVID kind of started to simmer back to being a regular, just a regular code, and everything was becoming back to normal, I had a bank account loaded with money. Right. And I said, I need to invest, because if I don't invest, I'm going to eventually have to resort back to using this money. Right. This money is going to come back out somehow. You know what I'm saying? You can have 5 figures in a bank account, and if you don't know how to take that 5 figures to keep reinvesting into making it 5 figures residually, you're going to resort back to that money.
Super facts.
Yes, sir.
Super facts. There's no way it's going to be the end result.
Exactly.
And then, like, just how you surveyed that situation, that's an entrepreneur mindset. Absolutely. Like, you wasn't an entrepreneur yet. Yeah. But that's an entrepreneur mindset, because a successful entrepreneur going to survey and see a need, and then, like, okay, I'm going to dive into this particular aspect, and I'm going to supply this need. So you supply the need. You like, look, there's in this market, it's hardly no one doing it. So this is going to get all the opportunities basically to me and a few other people. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Doing Grubhub, and that's the same thing how a successful business would work.
That was big, man. Like I said, at the time, man, is even people, people who were, we were all, what was it, isolated, what was it, quarantine. We were all quarantined at the time. So everybody was locked up in their houses. Nobody wanted to leave. Nobody even trust. But you know what I'm saying? You had those select few individuals who said, no, I'm going to go out there and figure it out. I'm going to go out there and get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else getting cut checks and to stay at home. And then you got the people who are out there saying, let me go get it.
Yeah.
$2,000 a week off of delivering your food because you too scared to leave your house.
Yeah.
I'm taking 4 or 5 orders at a time in a matter of an
Facts.
hour, making $200 in an hour, delivering food because nobody wanted to leave their house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, caking on him.
Cake it.
For real. And then something else very, very important, he said. You was stacking the bread
Stacking it.
and then invested it.
Exactly. I was making more money than I needed during quarantine. I was making way more money than I didn't have nothing to spend it on. We couldn't go outside.
Right.
Everything was closed.
Like, I don't need no new kicks. I don't need
You know
no new
what I'm saying?
clothes. Like, who gonna see me?
Exactly. I took advantage of that situation. Everybody was scared to come outside. I'm like, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
Right.
Because I want that. What y'all too scared to go get, I want it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And those
Yeah.
are the people who succeed, the people who will say, let me jump out there and go do it. That's why I go back to what I said earlier about faith.
Mm-hmm.
If you got enough faith to go out there and say, let me do this. Let me figure it out. Let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
You will be put into situations where you're literally gonna be scared into getting results.
Right.
Life is going to scare you into getting those results.
Right.
I tell people every day, the main thing that we're born with is the ability to survive. When we're first born, we already know how to breathe. We already know how to eat. We don't have to be taught those traits.
Right.
So if your job fired you right now and threw you out and said, you know what, go figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You're going to figure out how to eat. You're going to figure out how to continue to breathe. You're going
Right.
to figure out how to survive. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So that's what it takes.
Right.
And then I started realizing that, you know, as an entrepreneur, I was making most of the time in a day what a job would pay me in a month.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
that's when I started really learning the value of a dollar. I'm like, yo, if this company is paying me $10 an hour to work for them, how much are they making me off of me in that hour? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're making enough to pay me $10 an hour. You know what I'm saying? So off of one individual, they're probably making
Man, it's crazy. Like, the amount they paying you is a very, very low percentage of what they bringing in.
Exactly.
And it's crazy how that works. But like, when you the boss, you can set the cost.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly. See, they paying you, they paying your team lead, they paying whoever else is over your team lead. It's a ladder. It's a ladder of things, and so now you can only imagine what the CEO is making. They can only imagine what the owners of the company are making.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like if they paying you $10 an hour and paying your team lead $20 an hour, and then paying the person that's over them maybe $30 an hour. Imagine what the CEO is making.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Way up there.
Way up there. They the ones driving the Bentleys and the Lamborghinis and sitting in 7-8 figure houses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And they want to keep you doing what you doing so they can continue doing that.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They don't like, look, we don't need you to figure it out. We don't need you to be no entrepreneur. We don't need you to be our competition.
Exactly. Notice how people who are at the bottom half the time they're not in the rooms with the CEOs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what they feel like you're supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to make the decisions on how the company is ran and operated.
Right.
You don't get to make the decisions on when the next time they're going to lay off.
Yeah,
You get to make the decisions.
not at
on-
all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. And look, man, like, honestly, I still work my 9 to 5 now, and I still be looking at, obviously, I'm an entrepreneur as well, but like when I be looking at some of the things they do, like I'm in management, but they'll make changes and have no idea how it's impacting the staff that report to me.
Exactly.
And I'd be like, yo, this makes absolutely no sense. Why didn't they have none of the managers in the room when they made this decision?
Exactly.
Because they don't care.
They don't care.
Like, look, this is what we want y'all to do. You figure it out.
Yep.
I don't care how much it don't make sense. I don't care how long it take. Y'all got to figure it out, or it's gonna be consequences for it.
Exactly. And see, most of the time, CEOs and people who own businesses, they're making their money off of their knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You're working 8 hours a day. They might be doing an hour or two a day.
Right.
In the office, making a call, and they're going on about the rest of their day. They're going on vacation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just came in for an hour or two and made 7 figures this month, telling you, 7 figures this year, telling you that you need to work harder.
Right.
For these 8 hours,
Right.
I'm on a plane, I'm gone.
Exactly. Like they, and this whole construct of like telling you like, okay, you work 40 hours a week. You know, obviously as an entrepreneur, you might work more than that, and then sometimes, hell, you might work 10 and still be bringing in that same amount of money because you done set yourself up.
Exactly.
Like we don't have to, like once I get to a point where I want to be, like, look, I'm gonna set my own schedule. I don't have to work Monday through Friday.
Exactly.
It's like, who made this up?
Exactly. Exactly.
We've been conditioned to think that's just the way it is.
Exactly. That's how we conditioned. Exactly, man.
Yo, so
You're
it's
right on the head.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
On the head. Once you actually start to notice that, you actually start to notice like the things that you can do for yourself to actually be in those positions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's important to, even if it's a side hustle, you know what I'm saying? Even something like you said, you're working 9 to 5, but you have a side hustle. But at the end of the day, you have a plan for this. You see what I'm saying? And you know where you want to take it.
Right.
So one day this will be a full-time thing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's about the faith. It's about the initiatives to actually get out there and do it. You know what I'm saying? CEOs, yes, most CEOs were once upon a time in at the smaller position. But there was a plan behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There were goals behind it. They didn't stop at, I'm gonna work 9 to 5 and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna cook and I'm going to bed.
Right.
They worked that 9 to 5 and then they went home and they figured out the next game plan to get to the next position. They did it every day consistently until they figured out how to move up the ladder.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then even like when it comes to this whole corporate space, because I work in the corporate America, right? Like we was talking about, okay, everyone may not be built for entrepreneurship, but there are ways you can maneuver in the corporate space as well.
Right.
And there's some conditioned things there also that I don't think a lot of people get. And I kind of want to, give a breakdown to some people about that. Because in my experience, I had an opportunity to be able to navigate and do different things within a large company, like move, get, promotions and just, be very, just move a lot within the company. But each place I went, each department, because I usually move position with every year, 2 years, I'm moving to another position.
Nice.
I'm either moving up, I'm either going into a whole different department, learn something new, continue getting my brand larger and larger, right? But every time I went to a new department, I hear these people like, yeah, I've been here for, 15 years, 20 years, and they're just saying this with this large amount of pride that I've been in the same department, the same role for this amount of years, so long. But I'm like, you need to pay attention to your VPs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like ones that's higher up there.
Yep.
They don't be in positions for long.
Be in positions for long. They don't.
They be dipping.
They out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it's a technical aspect to that. There's something they know. They realize like, look, I can skip pay grades.
Exactly.
But if you're staying in the same department for all these 20 years, do you realize you're staying in that same salary band?
Yes. You're content. That's what happens. People get content where they're at. And you have people who are hungry who says, this isn't enough.
Exactly.
What else can I get? I want more. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say don't be happy where you're at in life, but what makes you think that being happy has to do with settling? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can appreciate everything you got in life, but not settle for what you have. You can still want more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just come to show that you want more.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, most people who be VPs and CEOs, it didn't take them, like you said, one person sitting in a position for 15 years, they've been moved up to them positions in 10 years.
Yeah.
Trust me, when I was working at Bojangles, I was training people who would start at the company a year after me, and then within 2 years, they're above me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was comfortable. I was like, you know what I'm saying? This where I'm
and that's
at.
how
You know
most
what I'm
people
saying?
are. That's how most people are until you hit that click in your head. Like, you know what? I done survey, and I was just watching so many years, man. Like before I started doing my moves, I actually learned it from another company. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this new spot and I'm gonna take advantage of this stuff that I missed over there.
Yes.
So I just started like, okay, every year and a half to 2 years, I'm moving somewhere else. Exactly. And because I seen like, when I go to these new departments, I'm making more than these people that's been working here for years.
Years, right. Yep.
And it's just because I just skipped line, basically.
And the good thing about it is that when you identified that there was no more room for you to grow in the area, you went to the next area where you could grow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's hunger. You know what I mean? So and then you didn't settle for, okay, I can't grow here no more. Let me stay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm content. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that happens is that they will get you content in your position. So that way you don't, you know what I'm saying? They give you, notice how they give you a little raise here and there, little bonuses here and there.
Right.
They get you content in your position. You know what I'm saying? And you get that little bonus and you're able to pay an extra bill with it. And you wait for the next 3 to 6 months to get the next bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they
facts.
get you content there.
And they will. And they'll make you think it's that norm because,
Right.
like, okay, you might get an average, like if you stay in the same department, you might get an average raise of 1 to 3%.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you're stellar, you might get 5 to 7.
Right.
But obviously the majority, they give them 1 to 3% in that same department. So if I'm in this same department for 20 years, not only been getting a 1 to 2% raise for 20 years, when I could have been skipping, I'm going in different departments every 2 years because
could have been growing.
Right. When I jump from one department to the next, instead of just waiting on that annual 1 to 3%, I go here. I just got a 15% raise.
Exactly.
So how many years I just skip if I just stayed in that same role? That's what I mean. I be trying to get people to see, but they be missing.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? So, even if you want to just like, entrepreneurship is not for me, but you also can navigate that corporate space in a smarter way as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you can't be lazy. You still got to be doing your damn thing. You got to be good at your job. You got to learn it, but you got to be successful where you're at to get somewhere else you want to go. So, but yeah, I just something I wanted to throw out there as well.
Right, man. You hit that right on the head.
All right. So I did also want to ask you, because obviously I'm still in the 9 to 5 right now and still doing my entrepreneur thing. Did you stop your 9 to 5 jobs cold turkey, or was it like a gradual process before you just leaned directly into, I'm done with it completely? How did that work?
Well, so when I was laid off, and I went into doing Grubhub, Grubhub is a little bit more freelance, so it's a lot more freedom in doing that. At the time when I started doing it, and I started shifting into investing into owning my own record label and owning my own recording studio, I was still doing Grubhub for a little minute, you know what I mean? But then I started noticing, I was like, let's work over here being an entrepreneur and the owner of a recording studio as opposed to still, saying doing Grubhub. You know what I mean? So it kind of just started transitioning. It was like I eventually came a point where it was like I don't need Grubhub no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm making that at $2,000 a week that I was making at Grubhub now. Here, you know what I mean? So
how long did it take, you think, from you transitioning? How long was that transition period?
4 months.
4 months?
4 months.
What?
Yeah, because once I was finally out into being my own boss, because I mean, with Grubhub, you're technically your own boss in a sense. You make your own schedule. You determine how much you want to work. Once I was actually in that position to get a feel for that lifestyle, I instantly became hungrier. I wanted more of it. I didn't even want Grubhub telling me what the hell to do, you know what I'm saying, or when I needed to be here, or when you know what I'm saying. I wanted to be my own individual. So it didn't take long. Once I got a little bit of taste of that, of seeing what I can do outside of a 9 to 5, and it was even crazy is that working Grubhub at the time, I was only working 5 hours a day, still making $2,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? Because it was such a high demand. Yeah. And at the time when I opened up the recording studio in Greensboro, I was noticing that it was a high demand for recording studios around here, actual recording studios where people actually come feel like they're getting their money's worth. Right. You know what I'm saying? So and now that became my front and center.
Dope. So what age were you when you like, all right, after that 4 months, how old were you at that point?
24.
24. Yeah. No more 9 to 5. Strictly, you're an entrepreneur, your own business owner, you're your own boss at 24 years old.
Yes, sir.
Now, being a 24-year-old man, very young man, how did you keep from having those distractions being a boss and not getting too caught up in like the chicks because you make your own bread now? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you keep your mind on your business?
Believe it or not, I failed a lot that year, believe it or not. But my first year as an entrepreneur, within the 8 to 9 months of being an entrepreneur, I made my first 6 figures. And by the next year, I had nothing to show for it other than the business. I had nothing to show for it. Then the next year, same thing, made my second 6 figures, and I still had nothing to show for it. So everything it's a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them things that you have to be willing to be involved with and learn and adapt as you go. You know what I'm saying? Even Tyler Perry, he said his first year of doing what he did, he made his first 6 figures. Next year, he had nothing to show for it. He made his first $1 million, had nothing to show for it. He had made his first $7 million, had nothing to show for it. $10 million, had nothing to show for it, because the money was going into, when you're making that type of money and it's coming fast, it's going into other areas. You don't really, but you have to be willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to be able to stand in those positions and understand, okay, I'm making this type of money. Let's increase the revenue and let's decrease whatever it is that I'm doing to take away from my revenue. So it's all a learning process.
Yeah, you got to like calibrate.
You got to calibrate, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like when you saying it was nothing showing for it, now was it you reinvesting in the business or like, okay, yo, I'm actually just blowing some of this money?
I was reinvesting and I was blowing the money too.
Both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I was able to do it to where it was like everything. So keep up with how my lifestyle is changing, and things of that nature. But I was still, spending on women.
Yeah. You was 24.
Yeah, doing unnecessary stuff, man. I'm telling you. And I look back on it, and I look back on it one year. This was a whole year after, and I look back, and it really hit me when we went to go, say taxes. You look at your write-offs and everything, and I said, "Where in the hell is this money?" You know what I'm saying? And I started putting it together in my head, like, yeah, that's where, and I used it as an opportunity to learn. I said, yo, I'm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Not again.
I'm glad I'm learning that. I'm glad I'm learning with 6-figure digits as opposed to like what Tyler Perry said,
right.
7 figures.
7 million.
You know what I'm
saying nothing from it.
Man, Tyler Perry said on his, I can't remember what year it was. I think he said on the second or third year he had, by the time he had made his 10 million, and he was giving so much of it away to family and taking care of others, and that 10 million was gone like that. I said, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the good thing about it, he learned, and now he's a billionaire. Billionaire. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to adapt to those situations.
Yeah.
It's going to be times as entrepreneurs when you're going to make more money than you ever seen in your life, and you're not going to even know what to do with it. It's going to automatically burn a hole in your pocket,
right,
if you don't have the discipline.
Right.
But that's what happens, is that you learn that discipline as you go, and it starts to become a situation where you're like, okay, this has to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I need to be figuring out how to make more money, not spend more money.
Right.
And I have to discipline myself in the money that I'm making so the way it can increase. Tyler Perry did that.
Right.
Billionaire.
Right.
So blowing 10 million in a year is nothing to a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. Yeah.
Now he can do that. He can turn around and 10 million.
Right.
Your family is 10 million.
Right. So true. So, what's something you would tell yourself, your 24-year-old self, like from right now with the wisdom you got, like, okay, look, do this instead?
Honestly, I probably wouldn't do anything different. Because if I told my 24-year-old self something different to do, it could change the position. I'm a strong believer in God and faith, and where God is taking me to be where I need to be. I need to be willing to stay the course. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So even with the trials and tribulations, they were all lessons learned. And so I wouldn't tell myself to do anything different, be honest with you. Because
no shortcut.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want my future self coming to tell me to do something different now, because if my future self was to come tell me something, do something different, then hopefully they're in a better position to where I'm trying to head to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everything has to be a learning experience.
Yeah. And the important thing is just to learn from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't keep doing the same dumb shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we all do dumb shit.
We do.
Like, but for some reason, everybody like to point a finger. But it's like, look, yo, you done a lot of dumb shit too.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what accountability and the discipline comes from, man. We could point the finger all day, but but when we actually have the success that we want, we take the credit for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the same thing is when you fail, you have to be willing to take accountability and discipline yourself and get back up and keep going.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
So like I know we was kind of talking about those expenses and things like that. So now when you at a, more mature place, you done went through the trials and tribulations, what percentage do you think you put into marketing and building your actual business now?
Yeah. Well, the best marketing is word of mouth. And then after that, I would say, so as the traditional consumer usually goes for what they already see people who have experienced it. They use, you could tell somebody all day, I'm the best studio in Greensboro.
Right.
But okay, fine, cool. But they're going to go based off of Joe and Sarah saying, this is the best studio in Greensboro. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I learned is that my best form of marketing has always been word of mouth. And like I said, I learned that at Verizon. It's about customer service and rapport, and how you're able to retain those customers and keep them customers. And once you learn how to do that, that's like when people come to my studio, they got to feel like family. You know what I'm saying? It's got to feel like home to you when you come in my studio. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go tell your cousin, this is home, your cousin wants to come make this home also. You know what I'm saying? And that cut out a lot of marketing expenses. Like, yeah, I mean, of course, we put some money into marketing to kind of get us going, and we might put money into marketing here and there. But believe it or not, with my particular business, we cut out a lot of those expenses by being able to retain customers, having real relationships with customers. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's even outside of the studio, you know, hit somebody up, yo, how that song doing, man?
Yeah.
How the song going? You pushing it?
Shoot, that follow-up game.
See what I'm saying? Send it to me. Let me share it on my Instagram. You know what I'm saying? It's about relationships. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's got to be deeper than business. You know what I'm saying? And that's like Chick-fil-A. When your order is ready, they call you by your name. That makes you feel so special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Matt, your order's ready. Shoot, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you know me, nigga?
You know me? Like, this is personal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, that's always your biggest form of marketing. And then, you know, the next thing I would say is Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Everything on it. We spend 98% of our time on these phones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And most of the time is scrolling Instagram, liking pictures and everything. So you have to understand that it's important to partner with other, you know, with us being a studio, we need to focus. We focus on media, so media pages. You know what I'm saying? So anything dealing with any type of media, music, publication, everything. We focus on having good relationships with them, and we focus on making sure that everything is put. Like one of my biggest homeboys, Fuchsia's TV. You know what I'm saying? So say if I have an artist that just did something, boom, let's get it on Fuchsia's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's I don't say 300, get on there, 400, 500, 1,000, we gonna pay it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all rock with Fuchsia's TV too.
Yeah,
hey, tell them to pull up, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, Fuchsia's is my dog, man. Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I stay in touch with them. It's always been good business.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how that core value that we hear growing up is, you know, treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
And you apply that same thing in business,
Absolutely,
and it can just benefit your business so much. And it's such a simple core value.
It is. Your network is your net worth. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you're able to really build a team, and the thing is, like, you know what I'm saying, they don't, you know, a lot of people pride get in their way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people feel like, you know, I don't really want to say the word, but they feel like they deriding when they are, you know what I'm saying, are marketing or networking with other people. Listen, bro, you will be in the same position forever if you don't want to get in those rooms and network with those individuals. I've engineered for some of the biggest artists just off of me simply being able to open my mouth and create a network.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now I have credits with some of the biggest artists. It didn't come from me standing there when I was in the same room as this artist and feeling like I'm on this, or feeling like I'm bigger than them on this same level. I didn't care enough. You know what I'm saying? My pride is an issue. Pride will keep you exactly where you are at. But you open your mouth and network. Let them know, hey, bro, I'm here for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Things about networking, you got to be able to bring something to it. As much as you want to be able to get something from somebody, you need to be able to offer them something also.
Absolutely.
You know, so,
absolutely. Yeah. And what's so wild, like, because when you talking, I can just solidify that you live by these practices.
Absolutely. Because
you know, we're in the same building.
Yeah.
But you know, someone was coming to you talking about something like you haven't even met me yet. You might have seen me in the hallway or something, but you haven't even met me. Right. But you're like, oh shoot, what he does that over there? You can go holler at him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is his info.
Exactly.
And I do the same thing, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything ain't competition.
Everything ain't competition.
You know what I'm saying? Like when people collaborate, that's when they can really make some serious moves.
Listen, people don't understand, man. You have those individuals who get into the game, any type of game. I mean, it could be as small as selling clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you have those individuals who feel like everybody has to be competition. No, listen. Do y'all not see that Nike and Louis and Gucci has partnered numerous of times.
Right. Facts.
Even they got the what is the name of that company? The ones that got the puffer jackets.
Oh yeah.
Gucci has the puffer jackets with. It's gonna hit me later, and I'm gonna be.
You talking about North Face, are you?
North Face, yes. Gucci has there's Gucci North Faces. You know what I'm saying? There's you know what I'm saying? There's Jordan and Nike fusions. There's 1,000 things. These companies partner. You know what I'm saying? They create one, and guess what they do? They sell it to the consumer and make money off of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They both getting paid.
They
not worried about like, what we got in common is we're trying to get to a consumer.
Exactly.
So we both gonna have our evens, like we're gonna get this amount and we good.
Exactly. One thing that Gucci knows is that they're still gonna get paid. One thing that North Face knows is that they're still gonna get paid. You're still gonna buy Gucci, you're still gonna buy North Face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't hurting the other.
It ain't hurting the other.
It's helping.
Exactly. As from consumers, they buy. They want. We never stop consuming.
Right.
We never stop. You know what I'm saying? There's never a point in time when you're gonna go, I'm only gonna buy North Face and I'm not gonna buy Gucci.
Yeah,
No, you're gonna turn around and buy North Face and you're gonna turn around and buy Gucci.
Yep.
It might take you a month or two, but you're gonna turn because you might not have you might have spent $1,000 on Gucci, and you might save up and get that North Face a couple of months later. But you're gonna still be a consumer. It doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? To the day we are going off this earth, we will always consume.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Super fast.
They come together and make the money together if they got to.
yeah. And that's what we gotta do, man. Especially like, we all really need to, band together, really make some serious boss moves.
Exactly.
Because like doing this thing by yourself, like how many people that is in your network when it comes to like your business, your record label, like how many of y'all is in that whole team?
It's a lot of us. Everything from artists. I have, as far as clients, I probably have over 200 to 300 clients alone. When it comes to recording, artists that's actually signed to me, about 3 artists that's actually signed to me. We have videographers, with E-Man and Don't Worry Studios. Have Drees. Drees is a completely different studio, Sound Solutions. My fault, not Sound. I'm sorry, Global Sounds.
Yeah.
He's a completely different studio and he's still with us. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not no competition.
How many engineers you got in your studio?
4.
It's a whole team.
Man. Producers. We got producers. We have producers that are their own entity and still partnered with Kickboys. You know what I mean? Like I'm never the type of person where I'm just like, I feel like I'm too good or that I don't want to build a team. Like I don't care what somebody else has going on.
Right.
In order for me to network, I have to be able to bring you value. You got to bring me value. That's the whole purpose of networking. People feel like that they networking is them going in and just talking.
Right.
If you don't bring no value to the individual, you're not networking. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to bring them some value.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because other than that, you're just taking up space.
Yeah, for real. And another one is partners, the Highest Point podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
It's collaborating.
Point.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, because anything, I can do to support, what you got going on. Right. I think it'll in reverse, you will support what I got going on.
Absolutely, man.
Like
Absolutely.
Our clients, like when you're talking about North Face and Gucci, okay, we got the Highest Point, we got Kickboy Studios. Yes. Somebody want a podcast interview to promote their business. Exactly. Great, but they're also an artist and they can use your services. Exactly. Why would I not tell them about you?
Exactly, man.
You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense.
Exactly. And then you have the podcast and you have the content and you have great exposure. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And believe it or not, like I tell people all the time, we don't watch TV no more. On average, we don't watch cable. Like I said, I asked somebody the other day, I said, when's the last time that you went inside of an Airbnb and seen cable?
Right.
It's all streaming. It's all streaming.
Daggone, everything.
Exactly. Everything is streaming now. So podcasts are so important. So, you know what I'm saying? I have artists that come in there, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, what's the proper way to get on podcasts?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go right here across the hall, we got the Highest Point.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Get on that podcast, talk to them people, because that's our form of entertainment now, is content.
Facts.
Everything is content. TikTok, content. Instagram, content.
Right.
Facebook. Anything you get on is now content. We spend more time on our phones than we ever look at a TV.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And it's not just like, it's entertainment, knowledge, everything. Exactly. Like I be like, I graduated from YouTube University.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know how often I just go there to search to learn how to do something.
Yes. Knowledge is so accessible, man. Knowledge is so accessible, and the thing is that that goes back to what I said earlier, that 90-10 rule.
Right.
You got 10 people who go out there and obtain the information and obtain the knowledge, and you got 90 people who want to be spoon fed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you, like you said, YouTube University, you can go learn a number of things off of YouTube and package it all together and sell it to the next guy for $4,000 or $5,000, and they're going to buy it because they don't want to go do the research that you did.
Right.
And you watched hundreds of videos.
Yep.
You read 10, 20, 30, hundreds of books.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You did the work. You did the groundwork, and then you package all that groundwork together and you give it to the next person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You sell it to them. Hey, bro, I got the sauce for you. It's $1,000, but you know what I'm saying? The individual was going,
yep.
He got it. So you know what I'm saying? He's a walking testimony of it. So hey, let me get it. $1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And you got all this experience, you know what I'm saying? You're an entrepreneur. You've been doing it for all these years, so you will have attained so much knowledge. And I know you got a lot of new things going on where people can actually, get information from you, learn how to create their own business, learn how to be successful in these different spaces like yourself. So how can people tap in with you to learn those type of things?
Absolutely. Yeah. Right now, I just launched a motivational wealth and entrepreneurial Instagram account, where I post a lot of information. Also, a lot of little insights on people who are looking to become entrepreneurs. I'm just building the following up on that right now. I definitely believe that, like I said, going into the whole creating content is the most important. Right. It's one of the most important things to do right now, especially as an entrepreneur. So I took it to that route, and the Instagram page is called Spoken Hustle. So you can find it at Spoken Hustle. And we're just going to be posting information here and there, and some insight on keeping people on the right path of becoming entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that title, it can't be nothing better than that, because that's literally what it is. It's Spoken Hustle, man. It's like once you go to that page and get the knowledge that they kick in there, it's like you can apply it to your real life. Right. It's worth the investment. It's worth your time. So definitely tap in with bro. He got a lot going on and a lot to come. Absolutely. For real. So we definitely appreciate you pulling up on us too, man. Dropping this game. I
appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Gotta have you again too. I mean, cause I got a lot of more other questions I gotta ask. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, definitely appreciate your time. So you guys make sure you follow him. I'm gonna have all his information down in the description below. So make sure you tap in, you click the link and follow. So until next time, you hold it down. Don't let it hold you. Peace.
The Highest Point Podcast.
More than a pod, it's a lifestyle.